I'm Kyle Minshew, and I hate being a forced audience.
Welcome to Grumble Goat. My name is Matt Labodka, and this is a show about all the small things that drive me insane. Let's grumble.
Any New Yorker can relate to this. You're in the subway, someone comes in, decides that they're going to perform while you've been working all day long trying to just go home. Capture everyone within a subway station or a subway car to show off your art, what you can do against their will, without their consent. They didn't choose to do that. There was an article a couple of weeks ago about a New York City dancer who was going into the subway, dancing in the subway cars on the poles because she wanted to share the muse of dance with people. No. These people, we're probably working 12 to 14 hours a day. They just want to go home in peace in public transportation. But no, now they can't leave the subway car. They're stuck there. They can't go anywhere, and they're forced to watch whatever it is that you're doing. What are they supposed to do? They didn't give consent to you to watch this, or you're making the assumption that they want to see it. Why would you do that? They can't leave. They're stuck there. I would never invite any of my friends to see any show that I do without them saying that they want to do it. I would never hold a gun to someone's head and saying, look, you're coming to my show whether you want to or not. That's what you're doing. You're forcing it on them that maybe they don't like. Maybe they think it sucks. I get it. Maybe you don't have an outlet to perform, but there's YouTube. There is social media. You can put yourself out there. Why you would choose to go into a public space and look, you get in the subway, you're tired, you don't have a choice. You're a New Yorker, you don't have a car. Now you're stuck there. So now you're forced into basically a steel box. You're not necessarily professionals in this situation. You could kick somebody in the head. You don't know. You didn't know you were going to have to dodge a roundhouse kick today in the subway, did you? Please find a different outlet for it. I'm Kyle Minshew, and I hate being a forced audience. And that's the Grumble.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
What?
Grumble, 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 grumble. What's got your goat?
For the latter half of the show, we'll bring in my better half, Veronique, for an unpretentious look and a segment we call
What's got your goat? Hi.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for today.
Why are you so excited for
Because
today?
we have two guests.
We have two guests in the studio with us.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Minshew is here.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Absolument, monsieur.
And apparently Teddy is joining us.
Yes, we have Monsieur Ted.
Yes.
Now, this is
Theodore.
highly unusual.
Hi, Ted. He's our newest intern.
Yeah, Ted is usually in the production booth during this. So.
Yeah.
He's running sound and lights for us, so I don't know who's manning that right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Is this equipment on?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Kyle Minshew, welcome. Thank you for joining us in the
Thank
studio.
you very much. I don't normally bring props to interviews that I do, but I figure I'm in my Bond villain era right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you
Yes.
said you've been going out for a lot of villains.
that
so
is true.
This is great.
Yeah.
You can use
so I figure
this
maybe
tape.
this will help it. This is a new headshot, maybe. I
Yeah.
could do.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. I'm excited today because we're dark today from our show.
We are
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah, we have a rare day off.
Yeah, which
from the
is great.
theater,
We've been
so,
working
yeah.
real hard. Now, Kyle, you and I working together on a show.
We are. Yeah.
Well, what's the show we're doing?
It's called Honor. It's a play by William Duell that is about a man suffering from PTSD after a mass shooting, and his family is concerned about that. So
it's dark.
it gets dark.
It's
yeah,
a
it
dark.
does.
It's
Yeah.
it's kind of a heavy show, heavy material.
It does. I mean, there's some moments in there of levity a little bit that kind of bring out the human side of that as well, where the guy dealing with his family and sort of like you see glimpses of his life before then, but
you are the guy.
I am the guy.
You're the guy. You
play the guy.
I'm playing the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so lovely meeting you after the show because I realized how fantastic of an actor you are.
Oh, thank you so
because
much. Oh.
You are not like the character that that you portray on stage.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess
Veronique came up to me. She's like, "This guy's pretty grumpy. You sure you want him on the show?" And then, but then in person, it's like, "Oh, he's not."
Yeah, I think oftentimes we're drawn to characters that are completely different from us because we live vicariously through them.
Yes,
So
but I feel like your true achievement is your energy shifted.
yeah.
Which I thought was really powerful, that like when you're on stage, you are playing a different person, so your energy is shifting as that human. And then when you take, the hats off and the clothes off, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm here, I'm back.
Yeah. It's like, woo, all right, I can go home and puppies and rainbows from now on. It's nice to be able to kind of walk out of the theater and be like, thank goodness I'm not that dude.
Thank goodness you aren't that dude.
Wow. Yeah.
But I saw the show, and it's a wonderful show, and I think everyone's doing a really beautiful job with the material, and I hope everyone goes to see it.
Yeah.
I'll see it later on.
I'll be in it as well. I play Officer Jones.
Oh, that's right. You are in it.
Speaking of moments of levity, Officer Jones gets to come on and crack some jokes.
He does.
No, I
He's got a secret life as a comedian that no one knows about on his off hour.
I mean, in New York, you always have a side hustle.
That is true.
So
It's nice to walk out of a show for sure, but then we're walking out of this heavy show that takes place in New York City, and we walk out into New York City. Mm-hmm. New York City's a beast all of its own.
Oh, it's a huge beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love it here. I think it's fantastic.
Now, Kyle, you live all the way in Brooklyn.
I do.
So you had to take the subway up here.
I do.
Now there's a beast.
There is
we
a
don't we
beast.
don't cover that in the show.
No. He does not much subway riding for that character. No, but no.
One character takes the subway.
Yeah, I think
I'll
so,
walk
yeah.
you to the subway.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I remember that part.
So yeah, I am a daily subway commuter, I guess you could say. Yeah.
That's great. I take the subway a lot, but I also like to ride my bicycle. But sometimes I'm the annoying guy that brings the bicycle onto the subway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of those guys. Yeah, it takes up a whole bank of seats. Yeah, just for my bicycle.
Yeah, I take the subway all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a very New York thing in which we deal with, and the craziness that happens within those situations is always something that I think any New Yorker, if you talk to them, they're just like, oh my God, it's a show that we witness every day.
Right.
So,
yeah.
There's shows that aren't the Showtime shows.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I was on the subway coming home from work. It was weird because when you walk on the subway and the car is clear on a traffic day, you're like, I'm not going to go into that car.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why no one's on that car.
Yeah, never trust the empty car.
Never trust the empty car.
Everybody's made that mistake once. At some point, everybody's made that mistake. They're like, oh, all the seats are available in this one. I'm going to go in there. And then, woof.
And then you get hit with like this smell of death. And you're like, ah! And then you immediately turn around and you go to the next car that's crowded with people.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I get it.
I remember one time I was coming home very late and there was a girl on the platform who had clearly had a few. And we all got in the subway and the girl sat in the very last seat on the end of the subway car and unfortunately expelled. And so it slowly started moving down the subway car, and you could see everyone in the car slowly started moving towards one side of the car as it moved down. And we were just at every stop, we'd watch and see every person come in and just kind of immediately turn and go the other direction. So it just kind of became a thing of it at every stop.
I love the travels of the unknown liquids.
Yeah, and when you walk on the subway, it's like, okay, is that water or urine?
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, you have to identify it. You have to, with your eyes, you follow the trail and see, okay, there's a Sprite bottle over there. Okay, it's Sprite. Okay.
Yeah. We're in the clear. All right.
I mean, when I was on the subway this one time, there looked like there were a few questionable people that were making their home for the night.
Yeah.
Right? There's a time in the night where that happens. Well, I looked to my right and I realized that this person was spraying Dove spray deodorant on herself. And so people were getting away from the cloud of deodorant, right? And okay, trying to stay fresh and clean, totally get it. The person next to me who had a home starts freaking out about the dust. And she freaks out. All this dust, you can't be spraying this dust. My child has asthma. Over and over and over. And I see that this girl, she's lying down on her mom's lap and she has like a little trophy, or so I think.
What? Wait, hold on. This child has a trophy?
It was a basketball trophy, and it was the child with the mask on.
Who has asthma? Is it the basketball player that has asthma?
Yeah, the child.
Okay, they play basketball.
Who knows what's going on here, okay? So the woman that's spraying the Dove starts staring at her and like ignoring the screaming lady. And other people
This is turning into like a mammoth play.
it was like a play. It was kind of crazy. And this lady on the side gets the dove spray out again. And I'm staring at her like, are you out of your mind? Like, this lady is going to hurt you because of the dove spray. And at one
How
point,
much dove spray did she have to apply?
a lot of dove spray. I mean, it was a lot of dove spray.
But why?
No,
Was
She
doing a dove
actually
shower?
worked for Dove Spray. She was selling it there in the subway. It was an ad campaign.
Yes,
probably.
she was an ambassador. Absolutely. Yeah. No, and so then the other lady that's screaming about the dove spray grabs her child's trophy and is like swinging around, and she's like, if you spray that one more time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I see the lady with the dove spray that has like a knife. She's like a knife out.
There's a knife?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
what I
What is
said. I
happening?
know. It was like a rapier. I was like, what is going on? It was like a little poker.
Rapier?
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, she has the trophy and the lady is like, come at me. And then the door is like slowly closed. And I was like, wow, we just avoided a homicide on the
Wow.
subway out of dove spray.
The theater.
The theater of the subway.
Did they pass around an actor's hat? Like, did you tip?
was
God.
that
She should get
MTA
her-
production of Pirates of Penzance was fire? You know.
Yeah. I mean, it escalated in such a weird way, right? Because Dove Spray lady didn't even say a word the entire time.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of this lady's mouth.
Oh, so she
Yeah.
was getting screamed at, but she just kept
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
I mean, points for focus. You know, like she's on a mission. Yeah.
She chose her want for that scene.
The objective was
It's
clear.
clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was an acting teacher in the subway car just stood up and clapped right there.
Oh
Just-
my gosh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Explaining the MTA to people who don't live in New York City must be like, it's just like, what is this?
Well-
what is this episode of Ozark that you live in? Like, what? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I know that was a slightly scary story that I just told of like escalation. It's not as scary as
Yeah.
people
the
that
subway's great.
don't live
I mean,
here. Yeah.
99% of subway rides are just like you get on and you get off at your stop and
Yeah.
that's it. You know,
No trouble.
Yeah.
we could not live. This city would not run without the subway. But egads, it's full of stories.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, every trip you create a relationship with the people around you.
a lot of camaraderie.
either something happens in the subway and you all make a collective choice to not do anything. Like that's the other
Yep.
trend
Yeah.
of that of just like this is just gonna happen. We're gonna be here. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the experience from the outside of just like this is your commute home.
Yeah.
You know, on top of that of just people kind of like coming in and choosing to kind of put whatever it is that they do on you every single day.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
without your choosing
Yeah.
to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is a whole nother thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned Showtime before.
Oh yeah. Showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Showtime guys in a while. Maybe
Well,
I'm just.
I
Maybe,
think when
maybe they're on the
SNL
L.
parodies, you've jumped the shark. Like when SNL started making Showtime jokes, I think they were just like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
see any good shows lately on the subway?
For me, it's like, okay, there's enough that happens in the subway. People are just trying to go home.
Yes.
Like people are just like they're trying to decompress. This is not something that I feel like anybody else in most other cities probably has to do at the end of their workday.
No.
Where it's just like I'm trying to get on the subway just to go to my home because I'm tired.
Yeah.
And like we all had just had this agreement that we're not going to mess with each other, and then someone sort of comes in and like, don't do that.
Stop
Like,
doing
don't-
that.
Stop doing that to people. Like, why would you one assume that anyone would want to see it? Two,
Yeah.
Like,
go to an audition.
go to an audition.
Yes.
Yeah,
Someone's
like,
paid to watch you perform.
And I remember one time I saw a theater troupe that was going into the subways and performing. It was like a performance art thing. They had these like weird paper mache heads on, and they were
Okay.
just like pushing their way through the subway cars.
Okay.
And I was just like, it's 5 p.m. on a Monday and people are going home on rush hour. What are you doing? Like,
yeah,
stop.
right. At least do
Like-
that at 2:00.
Or 2:00, or just don't do it at all. You know,
Right.
like don't do it don't force people to be a captive audience for you.
Yes.
Without their
exactly.
consent.
I think that's rude.
They're being
That-
held hostage.
They're being held hostage by your art, and like whatever your art is, like don't do that without actually getting consent from people to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we often ride with our headphones
Yeah.
in, and sometimes I don't even put anything something in my ears. I just don't want anyone to talk to me.
Yeah, but your whole mood changes, I feel like, even when someone comes in and is doing that, because you're on guard of just like, man, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be sitting there. I'll be on the subway. I'll be reading my Kindle, minding my own business, and like somebody comes on to perform, and like in my head, I'm like, I have to read my Kindle even harder.
Yeah, like
now.
you're not
Like,
paying attention.
I'm hyper focused on
like
reading.
you're not paying attention to whatever it is that you're using to distract yourself at that point. So it doesn't paint you in a great light as an artist either. It's not people that are like excited to hear whatever it is that you're doing.
They also like don't have another venue.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, so I can't see you down at a comedy show, or I can't see you. You know.
Like, how do you promote the show? You're like, hey, where can I catch you? Oh, you can catch me between 59th Street and 125th Street on the A.
Right. That's where I perform.
Yeah.
It's free. It's free.
Tickets are $275, or actually tickets just went up to $290, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
Or it's like somebody in the subway who gives me a CD. I'm like, who is giving out CDs? Like, who want like?
I don't have a way to play
this anymore. Like, I can put my drink on it. Like, what do you want me to do?
Right, it's a coaster.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Stella. Stella can play CDs.
Oh, Stella, my car. Yes, we could listen to it in the car.
That's so we can ruin another ride.
That's absolutely hilarious.
How many people now? See, in New York City, we're all together on the subway, but in other cities, people are in cars in traffic. How many people in their cars are like banging the drums and like hoping for smiles from other drivers?
They want the real New York experience. They'll have to, you know.
But what's so crazy about that is that the car culture, the people that really want to get in your way, literally get in your way, that you could hit them with your car. They walk in between the cars. Like even last night coming home, there was a woman selling balloons as I was turning onto 207th Street.
Standing in the middle of the road.
But it was like I was getting off the highway. It was like the highway exit, turning right. Like,
well, did you jam on your brakes and buy a balloon?
No,
you didn't buy a balloon.
Of course not. I was like, oh, don't hit this lady. Don't hit the lady. Don't hit the lady. Like,
it's like a freeway impulse purchase. Just like, you know.
Often on the subway, that's what's running through my head. Don't hit this lady. Don't hit this lady. When she's playing on the guitar. Better yet, she brings her own speaker in and a microphone and just starts singing along like karaoke
my
style.
headphones are useless. Like
they're useless when it's that loud.
You're doing your pretend activity of whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling on this Facebook post.
I'm so invested in it, even though we're in a tunnel and I have no internet. I'm scrolling.
Yeah. Oh, that is a grumble that I have. The internet underground.
Yeah, you think in space age technology they'd have figured
so
that out. But
annoying that you see a meme or a reel that you're like, oh, that's really funny, and then it stops when I'm underground and it'll go away. So I have to keep it on my phone until I can see it, right? Like, how am I going to search this random meme? Like, I'm not going to heart it. I'm not going to like send it to myself, you know?
Yeah. So you just stare at an unmoving
stare at it,
screen.
and then I just watch the
and
same
then if somebody
thing.
comes onto the car with a guitar, you're really annoyed. You're like,
Yes!
I'm staring at this unmoving screen right now, waiting for
nothing
internet
to distract me from you.
Yes, yeah. And then when it does start and then they start, I'm like, I can't hear it now. And we're going to go through the tunnel.
This has been an episode of Grumble Goat.
Thanks for listening.
I'm Matt Labatka.
I'm Veronique Hurley. Please subscribe.
I hate when people say please subscribe.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Yeah, you didn't know you were going to have to dodge a roundhouse kick today in the subway, did you?
We did it. We've conquered another one of life's little annoyances. But the truth is, what I really hate is commercials. And I'll wager you do too. And that's why Grumble Goat is proudly commercial-free. But to keep it that way, it takes the support of fellow grumblers like you. If you hate commercials, head on over to our Patreon page and see if becoming a Grumble Kid is right for you. And as always, don't forget to Grumble Goat responsibly and share with a friend.
Grumble, 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 grumble. Pa, 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 pa.